KULT, Divinity Lost. I am running this game for the good folks of Red Moon Role-Playing. The Summit, a scenario from the Taroticum adventure book. Summit is a game, a story that deals with isolation, paranoia, being strangers in a hostile land. Very swiftly, the characters will go from familiar surroundings to alarmingly alien surroundings. That isn't a terribly foreign concept in a game such as KULT, where Metropolis and Inferno and other such planes edge into our reality, but much of the horror in the Summit is frighteningly mundane. Maybe by the end we will start to see some extraplanar activity, but at least at first, the horror is real, it's personal, it's the kind of thing that everyone is terrified of. Our characters have recently travelled down to London from the beautiful city of York. Their children, among others, were the fortunate winners of a junior football league for the Northern Divisions, and that allowed them to come down to London to take part in the championships. They got through all the way to the semi-finals. Sadly, they got beaten. But semi-finals is no small thing for a small team all the way from York. And so there's a feeling of elation as all the gear is being packed up. Most of the families have already headed back off, leaving just our 3 parents and their 3 children to load up the last of the football gear, pack it into their minivan, and be on their way outside the football stadium where they are now. Who are these characters?
I shall be playing Frank Messenger, whose son is Jamie Messenger. I'm a man in my late 30s, short dark hair, I wear glasses, slightly on the thin side. I'm a financial advisor for Halifax in York. It's a very boring job and I work a lot. But my wife does feel it's important to bond with my son at times like this, so I was sent along with the other parents to help him in this little adventure of his. I was mostly happy to do it. It was irritating that I had to take time off work, but I'm happy to see my son having a nice time. I think he did well. He didn't win, but, you know, sometimes you don't win in life. You just need to try again, and next time you'll succeed. I don't really know the other parents very well, although I have seen them at a couple of social gatherings. Again, this was something my wife thought was important, to get to know the other parents, but the truth is I'm just busy all the time. But I have to be. To support my family, I need to work, and if you don't work, then your family isn't supported, so that's simply how life is sometimes.
I'm playing Emily Overman, who has Swiss parents, and now lives up in York. I have been down there in London with Arlo, my 9-year-old son. He got through all right. I was doing all right there up until the next. He wasn't actually able to join the final game that they were in there in the semi-finals.
That's right.
Because he hurt himself just before that in the game before, so he had to sit it out with me, and we were watching it from the side. He was quite grumpy about that, but all the while cheering the others on, and couldn't help but detect a little bit of flack there afterwards, that the others might have thought it's his fault that he wasn't able to join that last game, even though obviously it wasn't his fault that that it was another boy that tackled him. It's not fair.
And I will be playing Jacob Miller. My son is John, and I work at the local power company in York as an administrator. John is a little bit of a star in the team. He scored a goal today, actually. I'm very proud of that. Sadly, it wasn't enough, but he's always going to be a star to me. My focus has always been on my kids and their activities. I haven't really focused on my own career as a result. I spent a lot of time as a scout leader, and I'm also the coach's assistant for the football team. tend to be part of arranging all the different activities and, making sure everyone has everything they need and know where they need to go and really trying to keep everyone together in the team and keep us moving as a unit. So I'm really proud of this team, and I'm proud of how far we came. And next year, we'll get him next year.
There is that feeling. Your team performed better than anyone could have really hoped. Certainly, you're all very proud of your kids, even Paul Harlow that got injured on the pitch. But it is time to go. No championship purse, not that it was large at all, means no celebratory meals, at least not here. It's time for the 2 or 3 hour drive to go back up north. You're currently in the northern suburb of London, Brent Cross, where many of the matches were being played. And you're loading all the football gear into the van. The kids are having a good time. They're chatting away to each other. They're helping out. Even despite having lost, it was an adventure to come down this far and compete in an area outside their hometown. They'll have a lot of stories to tell the other kids at school, no doubt. All the other parents and kids have already head off. They went off with their gear a little earlier. You were responsible, however, for bringing all the kits home, washing them. It was your turns. So that's what you're doing. Loading everything up for the long journey back, intending on sharing a minivan that you had jointly hired for all too high a price, quite frankly. The rain is starting to set in. It's early evening. It's cold. The rain is becoming relentless as you load the last bags into the van. Worse than the weather, though, as you find that the car park is empty of everyone but yourselves, are the thugs facing you right now. They seem to come out of nowhere. It's almost like turning back from the van. They were always there, just watching you, close by. You certainly didn't hear them approach. You can't see their vehicle anywhere around. Each of them resembles vagrants, covered in sores, stinking like something unwashed for years. Indeed, their introduction came as the one with the thickest beard struck Jacob's left leg with an iron pipe, and a sallow woman holds a wrench across Erica's throat. Before you can react, another one of them is grabbing a couple of your children. John and Jamie, both grabbed by the hems of their shirts. There's half a dozen of these bastards, depraved looks in their eyes, made all the more horrifying by the rainfall as they ignore it, despite it running down their faces. One of the men, with scars all over his cheeks and forehead, he beckons you, Frank, to try him, as his shorter companion is bustling your kids away from your van and across the car park.
I am filled with panic. The situation has spiraled out of control so quickly. I can barely even believe that these people are... There are so many of them. I've tried to go for my phone and to ring the police.
The scarred man, upon seeing you grab for your phone, lets out a laugh and lunges at you to grab your phone, as if that's what he was waiting for.
I'm going to try and defend myself. I need to get the police involved and... To hell with this bastard!
You will need to make a coolness roll, please. So just to remind you, in the system used for KULT Divinity Lost, it is 2d10 plus the associated trait, in this case being coolness, as you try and act under pressure.
16.
16, very impressive. You neatly step aside, better indeed than your financial advisor's gait would imply you're capable of doing, and with the phone securely in your hand as this scarred tramp reaches out, tries to grab the phone from your hand. He just instead trips over his own feet. He's still chuckling away. As mentioned, Erica currently has a spanner around her throat as a sallow, stinking woman stands behind her, gripping it tightly against her windpipe. And Jacob, there is that large, bearded man standing over you, having just thumped your leg with a large lump of iron.
No, look, we'll give you money. Just take our money. Just, please leave us alone. Leave the kids alone.
The bearded man just growls as his lips curl and his teeth move as if he's trying to form words, but nothing comes out but that exhalation. He swings the bar down again, smashing it against your shin. You are sure you feel something splinter in your leg. And then, with alarming speed, he grabs Harlow and starts dragging him across the car park.
No, stop it! Why are you doing this? Stop, they're just kids! God's sake! I try to get words out, but it comes out like a hoarse cry.
The woman who's holding a spanner to your throat pulls it even tighter, and her lips go up to your ear. And then she kisses you on the earlobe.
I try to get free, panicking.
I'm going to ask you to do a coolness check as well, please.
11.
You pull yourself free from the vice-like grip on your throat, but it abrades your skin badly, as you essentially have to yank yourself sideways, bruising your neck and rendering, no doubt, your voice hoarse for some time to come. The woman doesn't put up a fight. She doesn't try to snare you again. Your children are halfway across the car park by now. Instead, she backs away from you and starts tapping the ground with her wrench, with a ding, 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 ding on the car park, while she's just looking up at you from knee height. Quite alien, quite bestial. The bearded man is backing away from you now. The one who just lunged for Frank's phone is picking himself up from his tripped-over position to look up angrily at the financial advisor.
I'm halfway through dialing, and just seeing this man getting up, I need to get to my son. I'm going to try and get past him quickly and just run after the person who's taking my son. And I'm going to try and use my phone to attack this thing, saying, "Stop! Just stop!"
Very good. Go for a violence roll, please, as you try to use your phone like the butt of a gun.
10.
You strike your phone against the back of the head of the short man who's struggling with your child, and it cracks loudly. Not only does it stun the man, loosening his grip on your son, it also breaks the phone. You know, after all, that between a 10 and a 14 in this game, there will always be a complication for your move.
Well, I don't have time to think about it. I just will keep this assault up, and I'm just trying to wrestle my son free and saying, "Jamie, you just need to run! Run!"
"Daddy!" he says, as Harlow and John... Now you see a van being pulled up on the other side of the car park. John is turfed in quickly, and Harlow isn't far behind. Frank, you can see Jamie is within your grasp, but you can see these other children farther away. You don't know whether it's your responsibility, of course, but it's right now you're the one who's closest to all of them.
Again, I just tell Jamie, run! And I don't really know what to do. I'm gonna try and just run to this van and just keep the doors open. I don't know if I can get out of this situation, but if the children can get out of the situation, then that would be something, right? Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Erica, you see Frank speeding up after this unmarked van with a side door. Certainly it isn't as new or shiny as your rental. It looks dirty. It looks like the kind of thing that you hear of people being kidnapped, dragged into, driven off, never to be seen again. Everything that's going through your head right now is This is every parent's worst nightmare, seeing your children snatched away from you and being unable to do anything about it.
I try to scream, but all that comes out is a hoarse sort of cry, which is dampened even further by the rain. And this woman standing in front of me, tapping the wrench, is very intimidating, I feel. But I'm gonna try and run past her and run after Frank. I want to try out. I definitely. I need my child free.
I'm going to ask you to make a roll for me, please. Could you roll reflexes?
I roll 8.
In that case, as you try and bound past the intimidating woman, she strikes you across the right knee with the wrench, and you hear it. You hear a pop, an audible pop, as your knee gets dislocated from the firmness of the strike. It isn't just Jacob on the ground now with an injured leg, it's also you. The woman, having done this, lets out another breath and speeds all by herself over to the escaping van, leaving the only vagrant nearby, the one clambering on the floor with the scars. The bearded one is well on his way away from here. Jacob, what are you doing? Your leg is throbbing.
I reach for my leg, trying to see if it's okay, and I'm trying to get up. I have to get after John. I have to save him. He's my son.
You find you can put a little bit of weight on your leg, and so you're going to try running after the van as well?
Yes.
Very good. Reflexes, please.
11.
You feel you're possibly exacerbating the harm that's been done to your leg, but the adrenaline kicks in. You're going to bound after this van as finally you see Harlow being dragged into it as well. Jamie has escaped his captor and is running across the car park, but you see the side door of the van shut, and with your son and with Erica's son trapped inside. It's like something from a movie as the wheels spin and the van tears out of the car park. No brake lights in sight. They speed around the corner onto the road. There's no way you can keep up with it.
I kind of just run out of breath and stop, panting heavily. This van, is it completely nondescript? There's no license plate, nothing.
If you can roll a perception roll to read the license plate before it disappears out of sight.
10.
10. You get the first half of the number plate and then it's gone around the corner. At the very least, both you and Jacob making a sprint for it, you know the direction the van has gone in.
And then I go to see where my son is.
Your son is pelting it across the car park, away from you, away from the other parents, away from the last of these vagrants that's still in the car park with you. He's running back to the stadium, not that there's anyone there.
I kind of try to catch up, but obviously I'm quite out of breath, and I just call out, Jamie, it's okay, you can come back! Come back!
You see him stop. He's also out of breath. He's been running hard all day. After all, playing football for a full 90 minutes is no mean feat. He stops, he turns around, hands on his thighs as he gasps, and you see his eyes widen in horror. He's not looking at you, he's just looking behind you.
I will try to turn quickly behind me.
The scarred vagrant who tried to grab your phone is stood right behind you. You can smell the bile on his breath. You can see every crack, every pore, every pustule of unhealthy skin on his craggy appearance. He's looking at you through broken teeth. Give us the boy, And you can go free. All three of you can go free. You can go back home. You've still got your car. Just give us the boy.
I look at this man for a second, and then I ball my fist and punch him straight in the jaw, saying, "You fucking leave us alone!"
You don't need to make a roll for that. You've never swung a fist in anger before in your life. And perhaps it's because it's your very first time doing so. It carries all the weight of years of pent-up anger and frustration that has riddled your existence. You smash him clean in the jaw. As he falls, you see the eyes rolling back in his head. He collapses in the heap of duct tape bound clothing that he's wearing. As he collapses to the ground, it's like a small cloud of dizzyingly intoxicating gas is emitted from his disgusting frame. But he's unconscious.
I admit, a few seconds passed where I'm not entirely even sure where that came from, but I suppose it was just the idea of my son. You know, you're right, I kind of wince a little as I clutch my hand that just struck him, and then I look to the others and say, "I broke my phone! Quick, call the police, call the police!"
I'm just lying on the ground, clutching my knee. You've all run away now, and I'm left there on the parking lot in the rain pouring. Can't believe what just happened. I just lie there sobbing, clutching my leg.
I'm trying to get a hold of my phone. You're trying to make that phone call.
You get through to the police. This is the operator. What is your emergency?
Oh, we're in Brent Cross, by the stadium. They took our kids. They've kidnapped our kids.
Please
you have
calm
to come
down, sir. Please try and speak clearly, sir. Who took your children?
Some vagrant-looking people. I don't know. Some gang or something. You have to come here, please. We're hurt. We ended up in a fight with them. One of them is down.
And you're near Brent Cross Stadium, is that right?
Yes.
And how many were there? I've already dispatched a car. How many were there, sir?
There's like 6 of them, and there's 3 of us. My name is Jacob Miller, and Frank Messenger is here as well, and Erica. Erica's here too. They've taken her kids.
They've taken your children, and do you know which direction they went in?
I look towards the direction. Is there any like landmark or anything? Do I know roughly where it looked like they were headed?
You don't know London at all well, but you look across the street towards the signs and read off a bunch of the locations. You read off Golders Green, you read off Larkhead, and the M25.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what I tell the dispatcher.
There's silence for a while. We recommend that you try and keep track of these kidnappers, sir. If you can get to your vehicle, the police will be able to triangulate your location based on your mobile phone, and if you stay on the line to us, we will be able to keep up with you. But it is imperative right now that you keep sight of these kidnappers. If they've only just left, we recommend you get into your vehicle right now and you attempt to keep up with them.
All right. I say, and I put my phone in my pocket. I keep it on, and come on, guys, into the car. We have to follow them.
I look a little confused. I'm soaking wet, of course, because of the rain. I'm the kind of guy who wears suits all the time, even when I'm not at work, so I've got like a wet tie and a soggy jacket. All right, Jamie! It's at this point I kind of remember that I was trying to find my son, and I look around to make sure he's still there.
Jamie is there. He's crying in a heap.
Oh, I run over. It's like, Jamie, it's all right, son. It's all right. It's all right. We need to get in the car now, Jamie. We'll be safe in the car, but we need to get in the car now. Come on, I'll help.
As Jacob comes back and helps me up, I sob and I let myself be helped into the van as well.
What are you going to do about the pock-ridden vagrant who you assaulted, Frank?
As soon as Jamie is in the car, I make sure he gets in the car, I quickly run to the boot. Do we have anything like... Maybe the football kits came with some tie-ups or some sort of something we could tie him up with?
It would take a lot of time to fashion knots and rope out of football kits, and certainly you don't have ropes with you or chains or anything like that. So if you want to throw him into the back of your van, you're going to have to do so untied or tie him en route.
I mean, I eye the guy, and I look to the other two parents, and I'm like...
Come on.
Time is of the essence.
Fine, yeah, okay, let's go, Jacob, let's go. Fine.
I try to sit. I go and sit in the front. I feel my leg is still hurting like hell, but just come on. And then I'm so happy. I'm so happy Jamie's okay.
Yeah, he's fine, but let's just get a move on, quick.
As you begin to speed out of the car park, you see the assaulted vagrant getting back up to his feet. It's very close to the van as you drive past, and he's just staring daggers at the three of you and at the child in your midst. And he smiles at Jamie. And Jamie recoils in horror.
I make sure I'm in the back of the car to be with Jamie, letting Erica kind of take the front seat. And I just hold him to me, and I just like, don't look. Jamie, don't look. It's fine. You're going to be fine, okay? You're with me. You're going to be fine.
I think you're gonna have to drive. Both of us got legs smashed up.
The adrenaline, although it is still, of course, pumping through you, doesn't necessarily take the entire edge off the pain.
I'm thrown into the front seat, and suddenly I find myself driving this van, speeding down the direction that Jacob's pointing out that they went in.
You check your mirrors as you leave the car park. Just briefly, of course, time is of the essence. The vagrant is nowhere to be seen. There's no way he could have walked or ran across the car park in that time. He's just nowhere to be seen, just the rain. But there's no time for that. You make your way onto the road, and away you go, following the signs. Luckily, it's a relatively straight road for a while, and you find yourself overtaking cars, looping your way through traffic, trying to make as fast a route as you can, and even taking the bus lane for a while just because lives are in danger, quite frankly. You stay on the phone, Jacob, to the police, to the operator, who's asking you, do you have sight of the kidnappers, sir?
We're looking now. We think we know what way they're headed, but we don't see them right now.
You finally reach a set of traffic lights. They're red. Do you go straight through? There's multiple ways you could go, or do you take a bead on where they could possibly be? You're going to stop and look, or are you just going to drive and rely on intuition?
I'm going to stop and try to get an idea. I look around.
Do a perception roll, please.
11.
11. Oh, interesting. In that case, you see that they must have taken a right turn because, yes, definitely that's them. You couldn't have been sure, but you think you could see their van. It's up on the curb. They've actually smashed into another car.
Isn't that them there? And I see it, and I see the light still red, and I'm sort of... My leg is shivering with pain and eagerness to press on the gas again.
Yeah, that's them. Go.
It's red.
It doesn't matter, go.
Just go.
Oh, and I push the gas and go.
You speed around the corner. Now, of course, there was a complication to that success. And it comes as another car barrels into the back of your van. You spin, and as you're spinning in the road, you see the attackers, the kidnappers, pour out of their crashed van. A couple of them with one child, with John, a couple with them with the other. and they are bustling into 2 individual cars. They're forcing drivers out. You can't do anything about it. Your van is spinning, it's out of control, it finally slows, and you can see that they've split into multiple vehicles following their collision. You can keep sight of them. Luckily, they have fallen into some bad fortune themselves by having this collision, but now there's 2 vehicles. Luckily, your van can still drive. You're going to stop exchanging insurance details with the person who's just hit you, or speed along the road?
Shit. I try to regain control of the van, and I will just shout, shit, sorry, and start driving. Get the numbers of those cars. Jacob, can you tell them? Can you see them?
I tried to make out the numbers on the cars.
Okay, let's do another perception roll, please.
16.
16, fantastic. You don't just look, you hold up your mobile phone, which is still, of course, connected to 999, and in so doing, manage to capture the number plates of these cars with the decent camera on your phone. Sir, you can hear over the phone. Are you still there, Mr. Miller?
Yes. I have their numbers, the registration numbers of the cars they're in. They had some kind of an accident here at the, and I give this whatever, if I can see what the street this is or have some kind of idea, and then I give the registration plates.
This is incredibly useful, sir. Please maintain your pursuit, if it is safe for you to do so.
Yeah.
You continue to barrel along the road. You can see both cars up ahead. They both appear to be heading in the same direction, towards what's signposted as Larkhead, just over the M25, so just outside of London. You've never heard of Larkhead before, but it's quite clear that is the direction they're going in.
I, in the back seat, make sure that Jamie's okay for all this violence and crashing of cars. I can't believe that the police aren't getting here sooner. This must now be on several traffic cameras.
He's shaking. He's rocking backwards and forwards. I saw it, Daddy. I saw them in their eyes and what they wanted to do with us.
It's okay, Jamie. We're gonna get the others, and we're gonna be fine. You haven't been defeated by this, okay? This doesn't defeat you. We're gonna be fine.
No, we can't go. We're going to be in danger if we go.
We have to save the others, Jamie. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. No matter what, you're gonna be fine.
Don't take me there, Daddy. Don't take me there. Meanwhile, over the phone. Where do they appear to be heading, Mr. Miller?
Larkhead. They seem to be heading for Larkhead.
There's silence. Larkhead, you say, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, Larkhead.
As you're driving along, you're finding the buildings on the sides of the roads are thinning out. You're leaving London proper, about to head over the motorway, not joining it, and into one of the extreme suburbs of London. I'm afraid to say the police cannot operate in Larkhead at this time, and complaints should be directed to the city council. The phone cuts off.
What? Hello? Hello?
What happened?
I can't believe it. They're saying the police can't operate in Larkhead? That we should talk to the city council? What the hell is that all about?
I don't know. Ring them back.
Yeah, call him again.
I tried to do just that.
You get through to an operator, not the same one. As you're doing so, you're finding that all other drivers on this road are peeling off to join the motorway. There's no one else heading in the same direction as you other than the cars up ahead. The ones you're chasing. This is emergency services. Do you require police, fire brigade, or ambulance?
Yes. We're following kidnappers. They've kidnapped our children.
Do you require police, fire brigade, or ambulance?
Please.
I'll just put you through.
As this conversation's seeming to take forever to me, I'm looking at my own damaged phone and just sort of swearing under my breath like, fuck.
There's a lovely a piece of hold music, just very briefly, just to pacify whoever the caller might be, and an automated voice that says, "If what you're calling for is not an emergency, please call your local borough council, who will be happy to answer any queries. Typically, they can be contacted on number 101. That is 101. However, at which point it clicks off, and there's a male voice on the other end. This is emergency services. How may I be of assistance?
I don't even know anymore. They've kidnapped our children?
They, sir. Who are they?
Vagrants. It happened at Brent Cross. We've been following them. They're headed towards Larkhead, and we're following them in our car.
Larkhead, sir? You're
Yes.
following them, sir?
Yes.
That's the right thing to do, sir. Unfortunately, the police cannot operate in Larkhead at this time, so any complaints must be directed to the
What the fuck
city
do you
council.
mean you can't operate in Larkhead? You're the fucking police!
And he disconnects the call.
Motherfucker! I say, realizing that I don't normally speak like that, but this is a very extraordinary situation. Same thing. They can't help us. We're on our own.
You find yourself crossing a bridge, and you've never heard of Larkhead before, as mentioned, but it's a strange part of the city you're heading into. It certainly feels like you're just reaching yet another tributary of London. But this is a part of the city that has been abandoned. It's like an American wasteland, like Detroit, like Gary, like any number of those Rust Belt cities, except it would have been abandoned in Britain for very different reasons, usually gentrification, or a council pulls its funding, or it was used for the Olympics and then hasn't been used since. Such parts of the city become overgrown, disused, abandoned by the people that live there. The town you find yourself entering is hardly the size of a village, really. Barely a kilometre square. The ground in Larkhead rises and dips unnaturally, as if the earth itself is trying to shake the buildings off their foundations. The buildings themselves show the signs of dilapidation common to the abandoned sections of an urban jungle, though their degradation appears premature. You don't know when this town was abandoned, but it looks like it was bombed in the Blitz and abandoned to the elements half a century ago. All that beside the fact that the buildings look far newer in design. Once rich structures hang tragically limp over roads and pavements. Walls collapsed to the ground, roofs caved in, and windows smashed. You spy the spire of a church, the bells in which will probably never again toll. You pass a theatre, the doors to which are collapsed to the ground. Papers, stools, and seats discarded out into the road as if a great explosion blew the building inside out. A police station stands mostly intact, though no lights emanate from within. This place, so close to London, is a ghost town. The only signs of life come from the disappearing tail lights of the cars you pursued here. They seem to know their ways in through the wreckage of this town, where rusted-out cars sit on the sides of the road and collapsed buildings block ways ahead. You have to go a lot slower than them. Despite your desire to speed along, it's clearly too dangerous.
I just look out the window, utterly confused. This isn't possible. This place can't exist. This is London. I start saying, "What the? Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Get the GPS up. We need to find out where we are."
I hand over my phone to you.
I take the car out of cruise control and I start carefully trying to press my foot on the gas again, though carefully, just to be able to maneuver through this broken townscape.
Your leg feels like it's on fire from pain.
Oh, this really bloody hurts. Where the hell are we? Larkhead?
The signal on the phone that you've just taken off of Jacob is currently on H, so theoretically it can connect to the internet and bring up the GPS, but is not going to be quick about it.
Well, I'm going to have to wait, and as I see Erica struggling, I say, Stop for a moment. Let's swap. You can't keep driving.
You sure?
Yes.
I start slowing down and I come to a stop and I try to, as quickly as possible, get out with holding my hands and against the side of the car and getting in the back instead.
And I will swap with her, getting into the front of the car, again just looking at my phone, waiting for the GPS to give us some indication of where we are.
And I sit down next to Jamie and I say, it's going to be fine, Jamie. We're going to find him, all right? It's going to be fine.
The GPS finally kicks in, but the map is patchy. Clearly it hasn't loaded everything up. It seems to know where you are. You are north of London, and approximately where you'd imagine yourself to be. But the town of Larkhead isn't showing up as anything more than a grey blob on the map.
I kind of realise I need to keep driving, so I'll start the engine up, and I just hand it to Jacob. Jacob, just look up Larkhead. Look up why police can't work here or whatever, and who we ring. It's just something to do with the fucking police. I swear to God, we are suing so many people.
And I put in the number 101, and I call.
It calls. Look. Is the response.
Hello? Is this the Larkhead Borough Council?
The council. How help you?
They've taken our children, and the police won't come help us. Can you help us?
Who is, sir?
My name is Jacob Miller. My son is John Miller.
Who
He's been taken. Can you hear me?
Hello?
I just turned the call off. This isn't gonna lead to anything. I tried the council, but connection's really spotty. I'm not getting through.
Looks like we're in some sort of abandoned area. I must have heard something about this on the news. Maybe. I kind of keep going, but as I keep going, I kind of start saying, you realise if the police... I don't know what we're going to do. There's potentially 10 or 20, 30 of them. We don't even have any weapons.
I'm looking around. I can't... Is there any sign of life, people?
No, and you almost feel inclined to draw the van to a halt. You've lost sight of the cars up ahead, so distracted by everything else that's going on. They were moving at such speed when you could not. You are almost feeling like you're stranded on a concrete island. And around you, you can't see any signs of life from within the van, at least not until it rolls to a stop. The weird undulation of the ground. There's flitting movement between some of the buildings here. This could be an opulent block of a city. It could be, but it isn't. Because it has been left to ruin, and it's in a way alarming how swift most modern of structures can fall to dilapidation if not maintained. The dense rainfall makes everything difficult to discern with accuracy. You think you see the occasional flash of light from one of the building windows. And then, on the opposite side of the street, another flash of light.
Look, up there. I think there was someone there. I opened the car door. And I just call out, hello? And I feel pain in my throat.
The flashes of light stop.
Is there anyone up there? Hello?
You find yourself looking, shouting into a multi-story car park. But there's no responses. On the other side of the road is what was once a large family restaurant. You can see the name still stenciled above the shop door and window, the Weirdwood Restaurant.
I stop the car, and I just sort of... My fingers start drumming against the car steering wheel. I think we need to turn back. I think we need to get a signal on our phone, and we need to properly speak to someone. We can't just... I don't know where we are. We've lost them, and we need to... I'm sorry, I think we need to turn back.
No, we cannot turn back.
We need to get out of here, Daddy.
I know, Jamie, I know. Jacob, I know. But
Look, I'm not going to leave John, alright? I'm not going to leave him. The police said that they can't help, and we're going to lose the track forever if we don't follow whatever we can here. We have to look around here. We have to find them. What would you do, okay? What would you have done if you were in my position? Would you have left?
I don't say anything. I just kind of stare down at my shoes and look back to Jamie and then stare outside again.
I stand outside there and I see the lights stopping to flicker, and I say, Jacob's right. We can't go back now. Police not doing anything. You can't reach anyone on your phone. We'll have to try and find someone. Maybe someone knows.
Yeah, someone will know. I'm sure of that. Did I also see this light flickering?
Yes, you did.
I think it was up there in the park, in the car park. It was. You could drive up there.
There must be something. Someone might know. All right, we have to keep on looking. Okay, Frank, I would totally understand if you would want to go, but we only have one car, and I don't know. We could really use your help.
I can't just leave you. We only have one car and you need a car. Fine, but... Alright, let's go to this car park. We can find another vehicle, though. I might... Maybe if I just get Jamie to safety and then I could come back. I could come back with help. But okay, let's go to the car park then. Car park. Maybe there's a car. And I kind of just start driving towards this car park.
You do so. Luckily, the van is under the maximum height clearance. As you clip the sign that's hanging limply from the ceiling above. There's a 6-story car park. You get the impression it was supposed to service any visitors to this weird town. Initially, you enter the basement level, and you have to start taking the loop to get up to the higher levels. There are some cars in here. Some even look in decent repair. You can't see anybody, however. Not on this basement level. As you ascend, you come to that ground floor level. Completely empty. Do you want to keep going up? In your van?
I kind of pause and look to the others. Look, why would there be someone in a random car park? Look, I'm going to stop the vehicle. I'm going to see about one of these cars. Maybe, I mean, if they don't belong to anyone, because this whole place seems abandoned, I'm going to go, yes, just give me a minute. I stop the car, and I open the door to go out.
Daddy, please don't leave me in here with them.
Jamie, no, they're fine. You know Jacob, you know Erica. It'll be fine. I'm just going to get us another car, and then don't worry. You're my number one priority, okay, Jamie? It's going to be fine.
Okay.
And I'm getting out of the van as well to go up to the front seat again and try and drive us up to that floor where we saw that light.
Excellent. The group splits up. And so, as you drive up to the next level, Frank makes his way towards one of these cars. Looks like an old Ford Escort, probably about 20 years old, but in pretty decent nick. Parked nicely between the lines. Do a perception roll, please.
9.
You see nothing at all amiss about this car.
No, I'm going to try and... I know it's going to be locked, but you never know until you try.
No, in fact, you open the door and... you touch the door and the alarm goes off. It's not a regular car alarm. It looks like it's been hooked up via some kind of rudimentary alarm system, strings, pulleys and bells, and attached to the ceiling right above the car there's a bell that's just going clang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang.
I'm taken aback for a moment because this seems completely unreal. And I'm going to try and stop this little system. Like, if it's just made of strings and bells, I'm just going to pull on them until it breaks.
That's not difficult to do. You pull on it until the bell stops ringing.
Right, okay. I get in the car, taking a moment then just to look inside carefully.
You're looking in before you're climbing in?
Yes.
Very good. There's a fetid stench of mould. It smells very damp in here. Almost sweaty.
I kind of pause. And... it's completely dark. I should have brought a bloody phone with me. I kind of don't want to go in, but I'm going to see... Can I turn the engine on? Maybe then the lights will come on in the car and I can see what's inside.
There's no key in the ignition.
Of course not. Fuck! I kind of close the door of the car, hit my fist against it for a moment. I kind of decide that suddenly I notice the others are driving on. I'm a little surprised.
Do a coolness roll, please.
10.
10. In that case, you feel the grip of a hand against the back of your head, but you aren't completely taken by surprise. You must have heard the scuff of feet beforehand. Thick, heavy palm fingers digging into your scalp as someone tries to drive your head into the side of the car.
I don't really have time to think. I just shove my elbow back as fast as I can, trying to not attack this person properly. I just want to get away from them.
Okay, violence, please.
7, 12.
You drive your elbow into the guts of the man behind you, and you hear a oof as you do step away. It's an emaciated-looking man with an apron and a long beard, long mane of hair, but the arguable healthiness of his hair does not indicate a healthiness of body, as his eyes are sunken and rolling in his sockets. You tried to steal my car! My home!
I didn't mean... I didn't know it was your home. Please, we just need to get some help. I start backing away from this person as I'm speaking.
He starts pulling himself up. You get away. You get away from the boot of my car.
Fine, fine, fine! Who the fuck even are you? What is this place?
He ignores you, climbs into the driver's seat of his car, closes the door. The bell starts ringing until he tugs the string himself. He reclines the seat and closes his eyes.
I look dumbfounded, and then I just kind of start running after the others.
Meanwhile, in the van, things are taking a turn for the worse in the multi-storey car park. You've never seen anything quite like it before. You reach the first floor, and you've never seen a car park repurposed in such a way, or indeed in any way. There are hooks hanging from the ceilings here, all long wires, and hanging on them are slabs of meat, some of which look like they've seen far better days. Even through the closed-up windows of the van, the air conditioner picks up on the smell, a rancid smell, and there's so much meat here. You're nudging it with the bonnet of the van as you're driving along. It's curtaining away from you.
The fuck? What's going on?
I don't know. This is horrible.
You don't need to do a perception roll to immediately see that the meat, as soon as you even start to focus on it, belongs to human bodies. That can only be a human leg. That can only be a human torso.
I start to feel like I'm gagging. I was like, feeling the rancid smell from the air conditioning and seeing it now. It's like, those are human parts. I start trying to turn around in this small space. We need to get out of here.
You try and turn around in a labyrinth of meat, finding that the road is far narrower for all of this meat hanging from the ceiling. You're able to do it. They move aside, but they drag along the windows, screech across the ceiling, the roof of the car. And you even hear a cry of pain above the car.
What was that?
Shit. Are they alive?
Jacob, what are we gonna do, Jacob?
We gotta get our kids out of this, okay? It doesn't matter what happens, okay? We have to keep Jamie safe, and we have to find our kids. Okay, that's the only thing that matters. Okay?
Yeah.
And we gotta get Frank, okay? We gotta get back to Frank.
There must be some kind of building here, some kind of authority, someone we could turn to. But this is...
I don't think there's any kind of authority that would allow something like this to happen. I'm sorry. I think we're on our own here. But, we're strong together, okay? We just gotta stay together, and then we can do this, okay? This is just another challenge, okay? That's all it is.
Yeah. And I start trying to find my way down again, looking out for Frank.
You see Frank stumbling up the ramp to the floor you are on, and his eyes widen, of course, as his face is hit by the stench, and his vision is hit by the signs of, as his vision is hit by the reality of dozens, maybe over 100 hanging bodies on this floor.
I head to the car. This is starting to get quite too much in a way, and I just need to head to the car. I understand the car. I know the people inside the car. That's what I need to hold on to. And I run to the car and be like, let me in!
And I open the door to let you in.
I slump into the car seat and close the door and lock it.
There are thick layers of grease coating the windscreen and the side windows now, as just liquids have oozed from the bodies hanging there.
Erica, get us out of this car park. We need to be out of the car park.
But keep going up.
No, Jacob! Our children aren't here. Your children aren't here. We don't even know they're here. We're just driving into a building filled with mad people. And look at that! What are you going to do against that? You're not going to help your son. We need to get out this building and rethink.
What if he is here, and this is what he's trapped among, this kind of stuff, then we have to find him immediately, okay? Just keep going.
I kind of look helplessly at Erica as she's the one behind the wheel.
I sit there and I was about to drive down, but as Jacob says this, I'm nervously drumming my fingers against the wheel, and then I just close my eyes, I take a gulp, and just start backing up so I could turn around and start going up again.
As you're driving up to go to the next floor, you see a sign pointing, and the road following the sign is not clear. It's completely blocked by hanging meat. to the Nova Mall. But you can't get there easily. However, you can keep going up. So is that what you're going to do?
So there's one separate road, sort of, or some separate track.
Yeah, that would presumably
That's
lead
blocked.
directly to the Mall car park.
Oh. I look questioningly at Jacob. Should we go up? What's Nova Mall?
But it looks blocked, right? Can we get through that?
Maybe. I sort of maneuver and try to see if there's some way I could drive through.
You'd be smashing your way through hundreds of pounds of hanging meat. You think your van could take it, although it may well damage the windscreen.
Look, if we need to go up, then go up the easy way, alright? Again, we don't even know where we're going. Jacob is fully acting on instinct, Erica. He has no idea if your two children are actually this way. We could just be driving into a place where, I don't know, we're probably going to get surrounded by this vagrant village or tribe. That must be why the police can't come in here. They have to get the military in here.
Erica, just punch through it, okay? Punch through it. Get through it. Okay?
Fucking hell, I'll break the fucking windscreen. And I just try to get through that.
So you head towards the Nova Mall parking. You keep along on the first floor of the multi-storey car park. There are lots of screams and angry shouts from around and above the van, and it can only tell you that some of that meat that's hanging there is still alive.
How's that possible? How can they be screaming? My God.
Is it like pieces of people, or is it actual whole people?
Are you looking? Do you want to look?
No, not really. I want to try push through.
In that case, you keep your eyes fixed dead ahead. It's quite possible there's some intact humans. There's possible that there's people who are intact enough to scream, but you are not making eye contact with anything that's hanging there. You are driving straight through to the far cleaner, more pristine Nova Mall parking. You reach a barrier that is up, and as you pass through it, the abattoir becomes background. It's in your rear view. The Nova Mall parking is, well, it's modern. It's sleek. It's lined with bulbs, with neon, with automated telling services to pick up your parking ticket, and a ticket even spits its way out of a machine as you go past.
I kind of am stunned into silence, because the contrast makes no sense.
I put on the wipers, trying to clean out the mess from the windows, so at least I can see something.
Doesn't really help. You are essentially spreading fat with a dry plastic wiper.
Oh, fucking hell, this is so... I... drive past this barrier then, if I can.
Yeah, it's up, so you can drive straight underneath it.
Okay. Okay.
If you're driving slowly, I try to grab the ticket on the way past.
Just on instinct.
Yeah, just because that's what you do.
You wind down the window, reach out, and grab the ticket. It comes off in your hand.
Does anything look off with it? Are the dates, everything looks fine?
It's got today's date on it. It says unlimited parking in big black letters, and welcome to the Nova Mall, 5% off any food purchases.
I stare at it with disbelief. Okay. Alright.
I can't believe it. This place looks far cleaner than the entire rest of the town.
Yeah.
It's like we passed through some kind of secret... I don't know.
Jacob, hand me your phone, if you could. Well, you have me here, hand me your phone.
Breaking the illusion of complete and utter cleanliness, you see a rather rotund man with a bald head and a heavy leather apron walking through this car park with a large cleaver in hand. He is like something out of a nightmare, out of a cheap horror film. He's making his way toward the multi-story car park, sees your van very gently rolling along, sneers at you through the fat on your windscreen.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the adventure The Summit for KULT Divinity Lost, from Taroticum and Other Tales. The Summit is the product of the twisted mind of our dear Matthew Dawkins, and you will find it released for free today by our friends at Helmgast. Check it out over at the official KULT webpage and their social channels, and do check out Matthew Dawkins' Patreon and his webpage over at matthewdawkins.com to support his brand of darkness. The music is from the official KULT Divinity Lost soundtrack, featuring Mechanoreceptor, Atrium Carceri, Howler, Warfield, Precision Field, Zvaga, Occult Cow Demise, Pandora's Black Book, Tantric Ape, Mind Divided, Michael Eidhall, and Second Escape. The album was used with permission from Helmgast. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin, Heuschober, and David, for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want early access to our content and to hear raw versions of our recordings right after we have done them, or join a campaign of KULT Divinity Lost as a player, please check out our new higher level tiers on Patreon. It's a great way to get more Red Moon roleplaying in your life, and to help us keep the show going. Thank you again for listening, and remember, death is only the beginning.